All right, y'all, what it is, what it do. It's your boy Dapper back with another reaction just for you. And this week we are heading into what seems to be the closing stages of The Shy. This is episode 7 of season 6. Sorry. And yeah, it was an emotional episode. I'm not going to lie. Not too much, like a lot happened, but it was more on the emotional side. But we'll get into it. But before we actually do get into it, make sure you hit the like button. You subscribe. I can't even talk. You subscribe. That's how badly I want you to subscribe. I can't even say it. I want you to subscribe and leave a comment based off anything. Like I said, it don't gotta be based off what I said. It could be anything you feel about The Shy thus far for this season. As long as it's pertinent to The Shy, I don't really care. Just comment it, and I'll comment back. You know what I'm saying? We can have a healthy dialogue. You know what I'm saying? And with that being the case, let's get into it. All right. Usually I start off with Duda, but like I feel like it wasn't a Duda heavy episode. So like we're gonna start off with Emmett. Emmett has made poor decisions. We've been notified of that. We know, and he's basically trying to make it right, but he's in a predicament where he's outside. He's an outsider in this world. He's not from the streets. You know, well, he's from the streets, as in he's born in that hood. You know what I'm saying? But he's not from the that kind of. He didn't grow up like that. So with that being the case, it's kind of like he's trying to figure out how to maneuver with a guy that has the upper hand because he's in his home court. Emmett's technically like the away team at this point, and you know what I'm saying, he has no help really because Nuck's not on his side. You know what I'm saying? It's just nobody he can go to, and he's trying to figure out himself. And like we said before, Duda's not even guaranteeing that if he pays him back, he's gonna be out of the deal. And my thing is like, where is Emmett even getting that? You know what I'm saying? That money. So stuck between a rock and a hard place. And on top of that, all of that has how affected him at home because obviously we saw Keisha found the money, and with that led to so much other drama and stress. Keisha's trying to leave him for like the third, fourth time this season already, and like he's just everything is coming undone for him, and like what seems to be the up and up has quickly become the decline. So my question here is, do y'all think? What do y'all think? I mean, not that I have any clue, but do y'all have any idea of how Emmett could possibly rectify what's going on? That's all I'm asking y'all. Is like, do you think that anybody who's around who could help, like, what has to happen for Emmett to get from underneath the situation? Because this is clearly going bad, very very bad. So now we have Keisha, might as well, and like we just said, she's obviously over Emmett and everything he has going on right now. She doesn't feel safe. She doesn't feel protected. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, it kind of was her idea to get this house in the first place. Granted, Emmett didn't have to go along with it, but it like was what he felt he had to do, especially coming off the backs of buying Keisha, not Keisha, Tiff the car and things of that nature. So she kind of put him in this situation to have this house. Now, granted, he was already involved business wise, but he's more involved now because more things have been paid for based with the house and things of that nature. So, yeah. Um, but we see due to that uncomfortability, and she finally says, "You know what? I'm asleep in the guest room. You figure this out, Emmett." She decides that she has to do two things: one, go to therapy, and secondly, she also ends up talking to Nuck for some protection because obviously her and Nuck had a previous relationship, going back seasons back. You know what I'm saying? And Nuck already feels bad because he knows he's let her down in the past. Nuck is part of the reason why she was abducted and went through that whole situation where what I'm saying, she was kidnapped and blase, assaulted, so on and so forth. So Keisha's been through a lot, and Nuck knows that, and Nuck wants to look out for her, so he's gonna try his best to do that, quote unquote. Make sure nobody gets hurt, because if she gets hurt, what I'm saying, Emmett can't get hurt, because then that hurts her, and domino effect. So she handles that, but then in therapy she uncovers that a tough truth that you know her first heartbreak comes from her mother, and she tries to sit down and work that out with her mother, but then ends up uncovering an even harder truth where the mother comes clean and says, "Look, I was born in a situation where having kids was what women did. I didn't necessarily want to have kids." And then Keisha takes it as she didn't want to have kids. She didn't want to have her. And that to me is a hop, skip, and a jump. I'm not gonna lie, on Keisha's end, it's a reach. I get it. Keisha's already in a vulnerable state, so she would take she's naturally probably gonna take it there because of the state that she was in. But I do feel like, what I'm saying, you can't put that on your mom because I'm pretty sure your mom grew to love you from the moment you were born. You know what I'm saying? I feel like she kind of hop, skipped, and jumped to like, you don't love me. You never really loved me. That's why you treated me like you treated me. When realistically, it really was just probably like I was doing it on the mom's end. It's probably more so like I'm doing everything I can for you. It just doesn't, me doing that doesn't leave much time for me to be like around and be mom, you know what I'm saying, the way you wanted me to. And I think they're gonna have to work that out. It's a tough issue, and like I said, this is a very emotional episode, but you know what I'm saying, it was what it was. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing. So I don't have any questions around Keisha's arc right now. It's just more so like I want to know if Nuck is really gonna protect him. That's really a Nuck thing more than a Keisha thing. All right, we got Vic. Vic, you know what I'm saying, has been going through a lot. Again, an emotional episode. Keep saying that, and he finally is like, "Yo, you know what I'm saying?" Has to sit down with Jake, and Jake is like, "You know what I'm saying? You don't tell me nothing. I need to know things, especially stuff that's going around with you, blase blase, and especially things that pertain to you." You know what I'm saying? You're my brother. I'm supposed to be I'm supposed to be able to trust you. You're supposed to be able to trust me. We family. And finally, Vic hampers down. It's like, you know what? Look, this is what's going on. And you know, Jake, pretty much being as smart as he is able to basically fill in the blanks for Vic because he kind of knows how the streets go. Jake was raised in this, so he knows how the streets go. And basically, like, you know, if he tells Vic, you know what I'm saying, you shouldn't go snitch. I wouldn't. So Vic, you know, is taking his brother's advice for sure. I mean, to heart, and you know what I'm saying, consideration at least for what he should be doing. But again, my question is, what do y'all think Vic is going to do? Is Vic going to work with the feds or not? Because I like I said, he has to make a choice. A choice has to be made. If he says something, you know what I'm saying, he could be taken away from his family, you know what I'm saying, even if he does strike a deal. And if he doesn't, it could go worse. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know which way I would lean. Me personally, if I'm in this situation, I probably strike the deal, but that's just me. It's just me. All right, we basically already spoke on old boy, but just to wrap it up, you know what I'm saying? He finally gets gets Vic to open up to him about what's been going on because he's been in the dark the whole time. You know what I'm saying? And you know, he gives his advice. He shouldn't snitch. You know what I'm saying? That's his opinion on what the situation is. But another thing that happens, which is a smaller storyline, is we did see that his girl Gemma was seemingly attracted to Bakari's sister. And I don't know if she's hiding it behind the guys that wanting to manage her because they, you know what I'm saying, the music doesn't sound too extravagant that, you know what I'm saying, she should feel like that's like a meal ticket for her. But you know, Gemma is always on Gemma's accord. We saw how Gemma and Jake even got together off the back of her, you know what I'm saying, leaving Kev for him. So Gemma's already, I was trying to give her the benefit of that, but she seems to have sunken back into her old ways, which shows her character. But, but we'll get to Gemma even more. So he just tells Gemma, make sure you keep it business. And just for him saying that, I'm foreshadowing she will not. All right, Gemma. So we saw Gemma get into it with Maisha in the studio, which causes Maisha to actually create a song that sounds like it's gonna be pretty hard. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily a song for me, but I could see that song being like hot in the streets of Chicago. It sounded like it was real Chicago driven that got that energy. You know what I'm saying? Because basically they're bickering about how she's moving on to another client, but she hasn't done anything for Maisha necessarily, which is true. So, we gotta see how that shakes out because you know what I'm saying, Maisha's storyline is a little weird to me because like I just don't know what they're doing with her, like per se, like is she gonna become a good big rap? I guess this is the stepping stone whenever this song drops, maybe, who knows. But Gemma's gonna go to where the hot ticket is, so we'll see how that shakes out. Our question for y'all regarding Gemma is like, does Gemma get exposed for who she truly is at her core? And because she's kind of a lot like homegirl that was dating Vic earlier, that's now dating her dad. I forgot her name, but just like kind of just where like it's beneficial, and that's not really a good person. That's not really a good character arc to just be around people that are just beneficial to you. Not that you should be friendships shouldn't be beneficial, but like people that can like give you stuff or get you a certain opportunity. Like that's not the reason to have friends per se. Also, did y'all think the song Maisha was cooking up was fire? I thought the beat was hard. All right, so we spoke about this being an emotional episode, and it couldn't have been any more emotional for anybody beyond Papa because the tone of this episode is set by the death of his father, the pastor. And obviously, we spoke about last episode that his last words to his father were not good words at all. they were bad, very bad words. You know what I'm saying? Not the parting words you want to have with your father, which obviously is playing in his brain and it's causing him to be really distraught. And he's lashing out. He's telling people he wants to be alone, which is understandable. You know, grieving is different. Everybody got to grieve and go through their processes. He doesn't want Cap by his side, don't want Jake by his side, just wants to be alone. His girl shows up, and that ends up being a breakup, as we saw, because basically that last argument they had was surrounding him sticking up for her and their relationship. And you know what I'm saying, she's basically on some like, don't treat me bad because just because you feel bad. And he's like, I feel bad because of you. You know what I'm saying? Now I don't know if that relationship is fully done off. I think it's a little cheap way to end it if that's like her last scene in the season or whatever and they're done with her character. I think it's a little cheap. So I would hope that they reconcile if he really did like her, because I think that's a lazy way to write her off a little bit. But you know what I'm saying? Not only is he mad at her, but then he's mad at Bakari because Bakari, you know what I'm saying, for whatever reason, it's really not like directly Bakari's fault, but Bakari's involved in that life, and you know what I'm saying, it's just bad and nasty, you know what I'm saying? And obviously Bakari doesn't feel any better about it, and we'll get to him in a hot second. But yeah, it's just bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel bad, feel sorry. It's the worst way to lose your any family member, much less your father. So much more your father. So you know what I'm saying? I want to know. I want to see how Papa's gonna react throughout the rest of the season. What his storyline becomes, because if the girlfriend is not around anymore and dad's not around, like, you know what I'm saying, what is Papa's character arc at this point? So let's see how his bounce back looks, if there is one. All right, Bakari. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he finds out past his dad, and he knows how it happened. He's in the life. He knows exactly what what caused it. And he pulls up on Nuck, and Nuck basically sons him, just like, yo, like, don't ever come to me like that. Like, you know how this go. You know what I'm saying? Like, when he didn't accept the money, and dude, I said do something about it, then that's what had to happen. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And you know, obviously Bakari emotional, but he understands that that's the way it is. Like, that's the streets. You know what I'm saying? But he did love the pastor like a father, like he said, and it hurt him deep inside, because then he hurt the family that took him in. He hurt Papa, who gave him the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just realizing, like I said earlier, like he can't be in the water and on the bank. It has to be one or the other, and he struggles. He can't choose one or the other, because he's realizing he's hurting the people he loves by being, wishy washy on both sides. But we see later on, which is probably going to be an even bigger story later in at least next episode or two, is that, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna get to Rashad, but like, Ricari ends up back with those guns, and he basically hides them at Lene's crib after giving Lene's brother the word that he would take care of Lene and not to put her in any harm's way. But he's obviously at a desperate point, and I guess he thinks, look, Lene's the last house is the last place they're gonna look. It should be safe here. But little does he know, it's probably not going to be, and I can't see this ending well at all. Like, I can see it possibly ending with her having to snitch on him or whatever the case may be. And you know what I'm saying, Bakari's just trying to do the right thing, but every decision is being made in haste, and he can't think things through right now, and he just doesn't want to do a lot of things he has to do right now, and it sucks, but he has to make these tough decisions, and it's gonna hurt the people he loves. All right, and lastly, we got Rashad. We see that, you know what I'm saying, this old girl crib he living at, they get broken into. And I don't know why the plan was immediately like my thing is, if anything, I'm gonna go in the stash, grab one gun, and you know what I'm saying, take care of business. My son grabbed the bag, put the bag on the floor, went through it, grabbed the shotty, you know what I'm saying, left it, like, you know what I'm saying, it was a sloppy move in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? They don't even show somebody actually breaking in. Like, it just, I don't know. I didn't like that scene. I didn't think it was smart. But hey, it was to portray a point, you know what I'm saying, where, you know what I'm saying, he realized for himself, like, look, I'm playing games. I'm sliding back into my old ways. It's cutting off now. I'm about to lose the one person that loves me, you know what I'm saying, and has held it down for me, is about to be over me. I'm not risking that. So here you go back. Here's the guns, Bakari, and that's how Bakari got in that situation with Lene. But, you know what I'm saying, I'm glad it seems he's come to his senses, whereas, you know what I'm saying, we shouldn't be seeing anymore like him messing, dabbling with any street stuff. I don't know what he's going to do on the positive end to get any money, because we saw he got some money from doing what he did, but, you know what I'm saying, that money ain't going to last forever. So it was a bozo move to go in the stash and handle that, but I see, I mean, when test for time, desperate measures, I guess that's what that, point is, but I would have drew it up a little differently if I wrote it. That's my little critique for the writers. But that's Rashad's story. I'm wondering what's next for him, because you know what I'm saying, he seems to have to go back to straight and narrow or else. So we'll see. But with that being the case, that wraps this up. Hopefully I kept it short enough. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the comment button. If you don't hit the comment button, at least do the first two. But I'd like to hear your thoughts. Like I said, even if it's not directly about anything I've said, maybe something you have in your heart about this episode or the show in general, or where the direction is going. And just, you know what I'm saying, I want to have that dialogue with y'all in the comments. So let me know, man. But with that being said, we're out of here. Big dripper stand up in the ocean. Everybody trapping, we get low. He ain't 4 p.m.